I think we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order on February 18th of the Sacramento Area Flood Control Agency. Will the clerk please call roll and establish a quorum?
Thank you. Director Conant?
Here.
Director Conant?
Present.
Director Elena Reeder?
Present.
Director Jones?
Here.
Director Holloway?
Here.
Director Shaw? Director Ashby?
Here.
Chairman Harris?
Present.
Rick Jennings?
Here.
Director Desmond?
Here.
Director Frost?
Here.
Vice Chairman Kennedy?
Here.
Director Natoli?
Here.
Director Cerna?
Here.
We do have a quorum.
Thank you, Lindy. Director Jennings, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I certainly will. Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which it stands, one nation,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, thanks for being here, everybody, for our second meeting of the year. Lindy, do we have any public comment not on the agenda?
I have not received any public comments, Chairman Harris.
Okay, well, then we can proceed with item 1.
Item 1 is the Executive Director's Report.
All right, good afternoon. Thank you very much, everyone. Just a few items today. If you remember at our board meeting last month, we had a gentleman come that had an issue regarding the cross levee fences down in the pocket area. And we explained to him that we would take his comment and share it with the Central Valley Board. So he provided his comment in writing to us, and we did share that with them. And I know 2 of you have reached out to me with others that have reached out to you that had the similar issues, and we have shared those also with the Central Valley Flood Protection Board. Our meeting, just our standard meeting with them last month, they indicated that they were working with some of the legal counsel for some of those owners of those cross levee fences down there on the issue. So I just wanted to report back that we did follow up on that. We indicated we would. So Lindy, if you can go to the next slide. All right, on the American River on the dam raise. So just a reminder, last year, early in the year, as the Corps was moving forward with their design process, they realized they were going to be significantly over the funding that they had been provided. And so headquarters held a cost control board in July. The district had requested a cost increase, but they hadn't done anything to include additional benefit categories. And so we were having a problem. Walla Walla District does their official certified cost estimate. So headquarters had them do a new cost estimate, which was completed in December 2020. But without updating the benefit analysis, that would have put the project below a 1-to-1 BC ratio and at risk. So in last October, Safeco requested that we present to headquarters some other benefit categories that hadn't been previously quantified, and also explain how the project was vital in helping protect Sacramento. So Lindy, if you go to the next slide, and Congressman Matsui this entire time has also been working very actively with the Corps leadership on this same issue. So the district, Sacramento district, worked with Safeco. We did most of the legwork for them to quantify additional benefit categories, and headquarters convened a new cost control board January 29th, and the district was able to present a BC ratio of 1.8. Now, no decisions has been made yet, but the district has been told by headquarters to continue with the design efforts. And earlier this week, the district was ready to start the bidding process for the next construction contract. It's a small one. It's about $10 million contract to build the stop logs for the main dam contract, but headquarters told them to proceed with that. So I took those as optimistic signs. I think headquarters has a number of other projects that they're also running over, and they're doing cost control boards on those. I think they're trying to get a handle on their overall what they're looking at before they decide how to proceed. But I think we're in a much better spot than we were about a year ago at this time. So just giving you a update on that. So Lindy, if you go to the next slide there. So we've been working with the state to make sure that in their FY 21-22 budget that they have sufficient funding in there for their cost share for our projects with the Corps. Now, the state fiscal year is different than the federal fiscal year. It's the same as ours. It starts July 1st through June 30th. And pulling all the contracts together for all the projects, we looked at that and found there's 15 major construction contracts that are going to initiate their bidding process during that time period. And the reason that's important is before they start the acquisition process, that's when the non-federal sponsors have to provide their cost share. So that's when we needed to make sure the state has the funding they need. So the estimated value of those contracts are 670 to about 812 million. Some of them starting in 21, but most of them are starting in 22. Lindy, if you go to the next slide now, I shared this one with the executive committee, but I wanted to share it with the bigger group too. This is just a breakdown of those projects. Now, the two, Common Features 2016 and the Folsom Dam Raise both are in the upper 200 million range, and then Natomas isn't that far behind. So we've got a lot of work coming. In Common Features 2016, the big one there is the actual weir widening itself at the Sacramento Weir. We also have the third contract for the levee work in the pocket, and then the erosion work on the American and Sacramento River start. Down in Natomas, Reach A is the big contract coming up. That's down towards the southern end of the Natomas Basin on the Sac River side, where it includes the area where we have the restaurants and the businesses on the water side there. And then up at the dam raise, actually all the rest of the raise contracts are the acquisition process starts next in this time period. The big one being the main dam and the left to right wing dams is about 160 to 180 million. So Lindy, if you go to the next slide. So just to put it, to show how large this is in perspective, this is where we're at right now visually on a graphic. The green lines are the areas that are essentially complete. The yellow on Natomas, that's the area where we're in design, but we still need the federal funding on an annual basis. The red are the areas that are either in construction or the construction contract has been awarded to start this year. And then the blue areas are the ones where we have full federal funding. So, Lindy, if you go to the next slide, just once all those projects that I just showed you, once those are awarded, this shows the area that they cover. It takes care of most of what's left. We still have some after that, but as you can see, there's a big chunk of work coming up in this next FY 21-22. So I just wanted to share that with you to put things in perspective a little bit as to what we're going to be dealing with over this next year here. Yeah, go to the next slide. There we go. So changing subjects a little bit. Every year, the president puts out a proposed budget. It's usually released in the February timeframe. On years where you have a transition from one president to another, it sometimes slips a month or two. And so Congressman Matsui went ahead and sent a letter to the new director of the Office of Management and Budget. That's the federal office that takes care of the federal budgets. And she requested funding for 3 of our projects and to be included in the president's proposed budget. She asked for additional funding for Natomas, funding for construction of the temperature control shutters up at Folsom, and then also funding to initiate the Yellow Bypass Comprehensive Study. So if you go to the next slide there, Lindy. So over these last few months, we've had her doing a lot of effort on our part, and I just wanted to thank her. In addition to this, she played a huge effort in getting the large dollar amounts we did for FY21, the 131.5 million for Natomas. She was paramount in securing the authorization for the yellow bypass study, and then she has been working extremely hard behind the scenes in trying to make sure that the dam raise funding continues. So I just wanted to thank her. And with that, that's the end of my presentation. I'll take any questions.
Any questions or comments from directors? Kind of quiet out there. Rick, I do have a question. So on contract 2 on Reach I, is that likely to commence work in 22 or 21?
Yes, I think that's what they're shooting for right now if they get the funding.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to say that I think you've done a tremendous job being a champion for the dam raise. And, you know, getting the BC ratio from below 1 to 1.8 meant that you did a lot of work, you and staff really pulled that one out of the hat. So I'm appreciative, and I just want to commend you. I think it's a really good job.
Well, thanks. I'm hoping we're not knocking on wood too soon, but thank you.
Well, doesn't hurt to knock on wood once.
That's true.
Any other comments from directors? Any questions for staff? It's a tremendous amount of work ahead. It's, you know, to me, it's very exciting. I mean, this thing is just a freight train at this point. One more question, Rick, on the widening of the weir, would that also be a 22 contract?
Yes. Right now it's planned for a 22 contract. There is a little bit of a design change that both the state and SACA and actually the Corps agrees thinks needs to happen. So we'll see it. That may push it into a 23 construction contract, but we're trying to keep it online to still be for 22.
Okay. That one, I can't wait to see that one start happening.
Right.
It'll be exciting. You know, and again, our congratulations to the Congresswoman. She continues to be an unbelievable champion for flood control for our region. And, you know, without her efforts, we wouldn't be where we are, not even close.
Right. Thank you. I'll pass
Through
that
the
on.
chair. Through the chair.
Yes.
Matt, Rick and Jeff, I couldn't agree more. All these projects, it's so refreshing. I remember when I first came onto the board, it seemed like it wasn't nobody's fault, but we just seemed to spin our wheels a lot with the Army Corps and contracts and on and on. We're moving projects along at an incredible pace. And so, Rick, I want to back to Jeff's question about the widening of the weir. Are you fairly confident we're going to be able to do that in 22 or just a study?
Oh, it'll be a several year construction period, but
I mean, to start 22.
Right now the plan is to award it this fiscal year, that towards the end of 21 for a start in 22. Like I mentioned earlier, there is a safety issue that we've discovered that we'd like to correct. That's going to push that out a few months. So I don't know if that might kick it into 23 construction start or not. We think we have a way to still start some of the work in 22, but
that's an incredible project because
yes,
that not only helps Sacramento but it helps a lot of the areas upstream. This is a regional project which will really benefit Yuba City, Marysville, all the way up to there, and also Sacramento, of course.
No, that is, and just a reminder, the levee work widening the bypass is already under construction. So that levee work is already under construction. So.
All right. Anybody else? Thank you, Matt. Lindy, I think we can move on to consent.
Chairman Kennedy, Chairman Hermes, consent matters items 2 through 8 are in order.
I'll move the consent calendar.
We have a motion by Holloway.
I'll second. This is Rich Desmond.
Rich Desmond seconds. Any comments or discussion on consent? Any concerns? Hearing none, Lindy, I think we can take a roll call vote, please.
Director Ashby? Director Ashby?
Yes.
Thank you. Director Reader?
Aye.
Director Conant?
Aye.
Director Desmond?
Aye.
Director Frost?
Aye.
Director Harris?
Aye.
Director Holloway?
Aye.
Director Jennings?
Aye.
Director Jones?
Aye.
Director Kennedy?
Aye.
Director Natoli?
Aye.
Director Cerna?
Aye.
Director Shaw?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously with 13 votes. Our next item is separate matters. Item number 9, a public hearing. Resolution of necessity number 2021-017, authorizing an eminent domain action to acquire certain real property interests for the Reach A component of Phase 4B of the Natomas Levy Improvement Project. Portion of Sacramento County Assessor's parcel number 27402600009, property owner Pacific Gas and Electric Company, and pursuant to section 1245.240 of the California Code of Civil Procedure, this item requires a 2/3 or 9-member approval vote to pass.
Good afternoon, members of the board. My name is Matt DeGroat, and I'm the Real Estate Program Manager for Safeco, and I will be presenting this resolution to you today. So as mentioned, before you is Resolution of Necessity number 2021-017, and this is authorizing an eminent domain action to acquire certain real property interests for the Reach A component of the Natomas Levy Improvement Project. And the property owner is Pacific Gas and Electric Company, as mentioned. So the property is located on the land side of the levee just upstream of Bright Bend Road in the Natomas Basin area of Sacramento County, and acquisition of the property is required for the Sacramento River East Levee Reach A component of the project. So before you see attachment A, which is a map of the Natomas Levee Improvement Project reaches, and Reach A is down at the bottom. Yeah, and you can see Reach A down at the bottom there. Thanks, Randy. Attachment B is a map of the property location, which is just upstream of Bright Bend Road in the Natomas Basin area. And you can see the location of the parcel by the APN number designated with the arrow down at the bottom there, right toward the northwest of I-80. Okay, then you can move on. Attachment C is a sketch showing the levee improvements that are going to occur along Reach A, which include installing an adjacent levee, cutoff walls, seepage berms, and operation and maintenance road on the land side of the new levee, and the relocation of existing utility infrastructure. So for this particular, if you can go back real quick, Lindy. So for this particular parcel, it is going to be impacted by the adjacent levee that will be on top of the property, and also there'll be an O&M road on the land side of that new adjacent levee. So those will be the impacts directly to this PG&E parcel. So as part of the staff report, attachment D to that staff report was a project description and necessity for the acquisition. D1 described the environmental compliance documents supporting the project. D2 described the environmental considerations that were involved in selecting woodland and grassland mitigation sites for the project. And attachment D3 outlined various reasons for the design that were taken into account for the design of the project. On September 11th of 2019, Safeco sent a letter to PG&E, the property owner, advising them that the upcoming levee improvement project will affect the property. On August 11th of 2020, SAFCA sent a letter to the property owner advising them that an appraisal would be prepared to acquire an easement over a portion of their property. And then on December 18th, 2020, SAFCA provided a formal offer to purchase an easement over a portion of the owner's property for the full fair market value that was determined by that appraisal. Attachment H2, the staff report, is a summary of diary discussions between SAFCA's right-of-way agent, consultant, and the owner, during which they discussed the potential effects of the project on the property, the requirement that an easement will be needed to be acquired over a portion of the property to support the project, and also the right-of-way acquisition process that would take place. At this point, we have not finalized an agreement with PG&E, and due to our construction timeline, we need to take these steps here today. So on January 26th of 2021, SAFCA mailed a written notice to the owner of the property, to PG&E, advising them that this board would hold a meeting at this day and at this time to consider the adoption of a resolution of necessity to acquire the property rights by eminent domain. So Exhibit A before you is the legal description of the easement that we will be acquiring from PG&E. And Exhibit B is a map of the acquisition, and there's a lot going on here, but if you look very closely toward the middle of the page, kind of up the upper half, right below where you see POB, there's a rectangle that's kind of diagonal, and it's got some hash marks through it. So that is the area in question. It's a small acquisition. It's about 2,600 square feet, an easement from PG&E that we'll be acquiring. And so PG&E, they're a public utility, and they are regulated by the California Public Utility Commission. So they have what is called an 851 process that allows them to go before that commission to process voluntary acquisitions. However, this process is exceedingly long. It takes a minimum of 6 months. And what we've been noticing recently is that due to various issues within PG&E, their pending bankruptcy and a lot of the fires that happened, and they're still continuing to be plagued with infrastructure problems. It's taking a lot longer for them to respond to requests and just to be interactive that way. So we anticipate this taking much longer than 6 months to acquire these rights from PG&E through a normal process. However, if we take another path through the eminent domain process, we can assure the Corps, which we have to provide them assurances that we will have the property acquired for the project. So that's one of the reasons why we need to take this step here today. And also, it does allow PG&E a little bit more leeway to negotiate with us outside of their traditional 851 process. So it does allow them to speed things up on their end as well. So it's for those reasons that we're here before you today to request consideration of adoption of resolution number 2021-017 for this piece of property.
Thank you, Matt. Do we have any discussion from board members?
Move to approve. Move to approve.
Move to approve from Matt Conant. Is there a second?
By Holloway.
Jeff,
Excuse me, Director
sorry to
Hicks.
interrupt. I think we need to do open a public hearing first.
Matt, would you amend your motion?
Yeah, I'll amend it to do the public hearing and I'll make it.
So you're opening and closing the public hearing and moving the resolution, correct?
Yes.
All right, and Mr. Holloway, you second that motion? Brian Holloway, your second still good?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
There we go. Let's call the roll, Lindy.
Director Ashby? Director Ashby? I'll come back and call her at the end. I can't find her on the list right now. Director Reader?
Aye.
Director Conant?
Aye.
Director Desmond?
Aye.
Director Frost?
Aye.
Chairman Harris?
Aye.
Director Holloway?
Aye.
Director Jennings?
Aye.
Director Jones?
Aye.
Vice Chairman Kennedy? Vice Chairman Kennedy?
Aye.
Director Natoli? Director Natoli?
Aye.
Director Cerna?
Aye.
Director Shaw?
Aye.
And Director Ashby, are you there? Director Ashby? Okay, motion passes with 12-member approval.
Thank you very much. Next item, please.
Separate matters, item 10, public hearing, resolution of necessity number 2021-018, authorizing an eminent domain action to acquire real property for the Reach A component of the Natomas Levy Improvement Project. Sacramento County Assessor's Parcel number 274-0430-012. Property owner is Mr. Leonard M. Konefsky, and pursuant to Section 1245240 of the California Code of Civil Procedure, this item requires a 2/3 or 9-member approval vote to pass.
Good afternoon again, members of the board. I'm Matt DeGroat, Real Estate Program Manager for Safeco. And as mentioned before, this resolution before you is Resolution of Necessity number 2021-018, which is authorizing an eminent domain action to acquire real property for the Reach A component of the Natomas Levy Improvement Project. Assessor's Parcel 274-0430-012, and the property owner is Leonard M. Konefsky. So this property is located at 2306 La Lima Way in Natomas Basin area of Sacramento County, and the acquisition of the property is required for the Sacramento River East Levy Reach A component of the project. So again, before you have attachment A showing the Natomas Levy Improvement Project reaches. Reach A of the project is down at the bottom of the exhibit. Attachment B is a map of the property location, which is located at 2306 La Lima Way in the Natomas Basin of Sacramento, California. You can see that toward the bottom, designated by the APN and the arrow pointing to it. And attachment C is a sketch showing the levee improvements along Reach A, which include installing an adjacent levee, cutoff walls, seepage berms, and operation and maintenance road landside of the new levee, and relocation of existing utility infrastructure. And this particular parcel, it will be impacted by an adjacent levee and also slope stability. There'll be a stability berm that's placed there. There'll be an access road on the land side of that. There will also be several utility relocations that are going to be going through the house, the location of the house. There'll be a water line also relocated that serves the RD1000 pumping plant, which is behind the house. Attachment D to the staff report you received is a project description and necessity for the acquisition. D1 describes the environmental compliance documents supporting the project. D2 describes the environmental considerations which were involved in selecting the woodland and grassland mitigation sites for the project. D3 outlined the various reasons that were taken into account for the design of the project. On September 10th, 2019, Safeco sent a letter to the property owner advising him that the upcoming levy improvement project will affect his property. On October 18th, 2019, Safeco sent a letter to the property owner advising him that an appraisal would be prepared to acquire the property in fee, the entire property in fee. On December 17th, 2019, Safeco did provide a formal offer to purchase the property in fee for the full fair market value that was determined by the appraisal. Attachment H to the staff report is the diary discussions between Safeco's right-of-way acquisition consultant and the owner, in which they discussed all the potential effects of the project on the property and the requirement that the property would need to be acquired in fee to support the project. And they also discussed the entire right-of-way acquisition process. So at this time, we have not come to an agreement on price with the property owner. There have been several exchanges. However, we still have not got to a point where we have agreed on price. So on January 26, 2021, Safeco mailed written notice to the owner advising him that this board would hold a hearing at this day and time to consider the adoption of a resolution necessity to acquire the property by eminent domain, and also advising him that he could appear before the board and make comments if he chose to do so. So Exhibit A is a legal description of the property, very short description since we will be acquiring the entire property. And Exhibit B is a map of the property in question. You can see it toward the upper middle portion. It's designated with the hash mark, APN 274-0430-012. And so at this point, we haven't reached agreement on price with the property owner. There's been several back and forth with them. However, due to the Corps' construction schedule and the length of time it will take to ensure that we have the property available for that construction, that's the reason we feel we need to take this matter before each day of this resolution. However, even if this board does choose to adopt this resolution, the Safeco will continue to negotiate with this property owner and hopefully reach an agreement on that parallel path. So with that, we request you consider resolution of necessity number 2021-018.
All right, thank you, Matt. I have a question for you right out of the gate. Our current offer to the Konevskis, is it above the appraisal price?
Yes, it is. It is well above the appraisal price.
Okay. And it's my understanding that staff is going to continue negotiating and is hopeful of an outcome in the negotiations.
Yes, absolutely. We are continuing to negotiate. We're several different items on the table to negotiate, and we are hopeful that we can reach an agreement with them.
Okay. Well, thank you for your work on that. I appreciate it. Any questions from directors? And if there are none, I would entertain a motion that would include opening and closing the public hearing.
Director Jennings will open and close the public hearing and move the item.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion from Mr. Jennings, a second from Mr. Cerna, and no further discussion I see. So can you call the roll, please, Lindy?
Thank you, Director Ashby, Director Reeder,
Aye.
Director Conant,
Aye.
Director Desmond,
Aye.
Director Frost, Director Frost,
Aye.
Chairman Harris,
Aye.
Director Holloway,
Aye.
Director Jennings,
Aye.
Director Jones,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Kennedy, Thank you. Director Natoli,
Aye.
Director Cerna,
Aye.
Director Shaw.
Aye.
Motion passes with 12-member approval.
Thank you very much.
Separate matters, item 11, public hearing resolution of necessity number 2021-019, authorizing an eminent domain action to acquire certain real property interests for Phase 4B of the Natomas Levy Improvement Project, Sacramento County Assessor's parcel number 237-0031-050, property owner Sutter's Claim LP. Chairman Harris, staff recommends that this item be dropped from the agenda.
And do we need a motion to do that, Lindy?
Yes, please.
So also move, this one's been resolved, everybody, so it's fair to take it off the agenda.
I'll second.
I'm sorry, it was a motion by Chairman Harris and a second by,
Desmond?
thank you. Oops. Director Ashby, Director Reeder,
Aye.
Director Conant,
Aye.
Director Desmond,
Aye.
Director Frost,
Aye.
Chairman Harris,
Aye.
Director Holloway,
Aye.
Director Jennings,
Aye.
Director Jones,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Kennedy, Director Natoli,
Aye.
Director Cerna,
Aye.
Director Shaw.
Aye.
Director Kennedy, did you answer?
I did not hear it. Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes with 12-member approval. Separate matters, item 12 is the information update on the mitigation needs for the American River Common Features Project.
Thank you, Lindy. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Melanie Soche. I'm a principal planner with SAFECA, and I want to give you all an update this afternoon on an informational item specific to the mitigation planning that we've been doing lately. So I think this slide summarizes all the actions that the American River Common Features Project entails, everything from the seepage and stability to the erosion protection measures on the various levee reaches and the Sacramento Weir bypass. It also includes an item for environmental mitigation. And this was all what was recommended in the GRR. Since that effort, we have been making a lot of revisions and updates, working with the Corps on what the overall project impacts will be and the footprints. And then that has therefore changed the environmental mitigation needs. So Lindy, if you could go to the next slide. So here are the estimated overall mitigation needs for the total American River Common Features projects. It includes everything from small acreage on woodlands, riparian and cuckoo habitat, giant garter snake, the valley elderberry longhorn beetle, delta snout for fish species, and the series of steelhead, salmon, and sturgeon fish species, and then a few small impacts for vernal pools and wetlands. But the focus I really want to touch on today is specifically that bold number for the large amount of fish habitat that we need for the American River Common Features, and specifically focus on the American River projects and impacts that are going to be needed versus the Sacramento River and the overall impact. So you can see there's a really large total remaining need from what we have identified for mitigation to date. And that's really going to be our most limiting factor going forward, is trying to find the appropriate mitigation habitat and securing the real estate for the aquatic fish species. Lindy, next slide. So focusing in just on the lower American River, there are some current mitigation sites that have been planned for construction in both 2022 and 2023, and you can see those 5 mitigation sites here. They are all relatively small, but there is one specific site that's being planned for Arden Pond on the American River that will cover 23 acres of the needed fish habitat. The other sites are all for the valley elderberry longhorn beetle. Next slide, Lindy. So in working with the Corps, they have asked SAFCA to conduct an assessment and to really look at the overall total potential sites along the Sacramento River and American River for mitigation. And so through that effort, we have analyzed, particularly focused on cost, schedule, and implementability of what sites are in the location of project impacts, so in a radius of up to 25 to 30 miles away from project impacts, what the current land use is on these sites, the constraints of these sites, ownership, the habitat availability, are there the physical and hydrologic characteristics that are needed to support mitigation and to support that critical habitat. And what we've narrowed that down to, focusing on just the most highest potential sites that meet the biological opinion needs from the resource agencies and the requirements. There's 7 sites on the Sacramento River and 8 sites on the American River, one of which is already moving forward, which is Arden Pond. Next slide, Lindy. So looking just specifically at those top potential American River sites, this is really showing you the range of acreage and costs for those sites. And like I said, there's only 7 that we're looking at here on this table. And there's a wide range between anywhere from 8 acres up to 126 acres. And what this is really showing us is that the costs vary greatly from $250,000 an acre up to over $600,000 an acre. And that the range of small sites that would be needed to cover the habitat impacts that we would have to do several small sites or one potential large site to cover those needs on the American River for the erosion projects. And the larger sites tend to be a lot less expensive and have economies of scale, usually because we're able to cover a lot of additional species such as yellow-billed cuckoo, a valley elder hornbill, and the fish habitat. The economies of scale really is important here, and I want to make sure to emphasize that on this table. Next slide, Lindy. So the ideal American River mitigation site, it would provide the compensatory mitigation that we need to support all of the bank protection work that's planned for the Lower American River sites. Ideally, it would increase habitat connectivity within the parkway already. It could preserve and enhance recreational opportunities within the parkway and potentially solve existing concerns at sites that are potentially degraded. Next slide. So in conclusion, the Corps and the resource agencies' main focus and intent is to mitigate for all the American River erosion impacts within the American River Parkway as the top priority. SAFCA's analysis that we have conducted does show that there are some sites available, identified, that could provide that opportunity within the parkway to conduct the mitigation needed. And ongoing, there's going to be a lot of additional coordination to finalize the project impacts on the American River. Once the final footprints and designs are complete, we'll have a better understanding of the total acreage and impacts needed. So that will continue as long as well as the regulatory agency negotiations, real estate investigations, and other efforts that would support the mitigation planning process. And so we will continue to provide updates to the board on any actions that are needed going forward for mitigation, so that we can ensure that this project continues without delay or impediments, because mitigation can be definitely one of the biggest challenges of a large project like this is finding those off-site mitigation areas within an urban area, and we are very limited in that. So that's all I had for this afternoon, and I can take any questions.
Thank you, Melanie. I have a question on the 354 figure on the salmonids. Was that credits or acres of habitat that we were talking about?
It's acres.
Acres. Is there any way to get to that high number? I mean, the sites that you identified don't add up to 354.
Yeah, so that's the total needed for all of the ARCF project, right? I'm just showing you some sites that were on the American River. We will also have to find a site on the main stem of the Sacramento River to also cover that 350 acres.
Got it. Okay, thanks for that clarification. Any questions from directors? It's a fairly complex subject, and there's a lot of work to be done in this area. So thank you for your efforts, Melanie.
Thank you.
Our next item is closed session, Government Code Section 54956.8, conference with real property negotiators, property at 4180 Northgate Boulevard, Sacramento, California, APN 237-0031-052. Negotiating party was David Ham on behalf of Town Commercial LLC, and Government Code Section 54956.8, conference with real property negotiators, Sacramento County APNs 274-0120, 104, 105, and 106. Negotiating party Kathleen Rose on behalf of Henry and Carmen Yerusha Limited Partnership. And Chairman Harris, staff recommends that these items be dropped from the agenda.
Okay, I understood there, Lindy. And that's because of ongoing negotiations, correct?
I deferred that question to.
Yeah, sorry, Jeff, I just had to catch my mute button. On one of them, we went ahead and sent a memo that we didn't really need a closed session for one. And the other, we want to do a little more work before we go into closed session for, we need to a couple of new things came up and we need to work on those before we bring the closed session.
Okay, appreciate that. So I'll entertain a motion to defer these items to a later time as necessary and drop them from the agenda today.
I'll move that we move the agenda. Shaw.
A move by Shaw and a second by Conant. Lindy, call roll.
Director Ashby, Director Reeder, Director Conant,
Aye.
Director Desmond,
Aye.
Director Frost,
Aye.
Chairman Harris,
Aye.
Director Holloway,
Aye.
Director Jennings,
Aye.
Director Jones,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Kennedy,
Aye.
Director Natoli,
Aye.
Director Cerna,
Aye.
and Director Shaw.
Aye.
And that motion passes to drop those items with 12-member approval. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Lindy. Well, that concludes our agenda. Are there any comments or questions from directors for staff? I do not hear any. I would like to say, I'd like to thank Matt and Jeremy, Jason, Barb, Rick, for all the work on the LERDs. We wouldn't be building these projects if you couldn't clear the way for us to do it. And we know you're all working very hard on these acquisitions and the necessary, things that you have to do to lay the path for us to build these projects. So thank you very much for your hard work. It's paying off in a big way. That being said, our business is done, and let's adjourn at about 10 till 4. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.